So as we embark on this new year, I personally have taken this time to reflect on the year we've left behind, and after looking back and really just taking it all in, I've reached the inevitable conclusion that I botched it. I mean, I really fucked the whole year up. I zigged when I should have zagged, I achieved none of my goals, and my goals were not lofty. I spent more money than I made, I gained more weight than I lost, I said I couldn't do jury duty when I really probably could have done jury duty. I didn't make a single student loan payment, and I drove on several toll roads without paying the toll. But one thing I did do, one thing that can never be taken away, is good God did I watch a fuck ton of reality TV. I watched so much reality TV last year. It may have been the only thing I did, but I for sure did it. I didn't watch the news, I didn't follow the election, I didn't keep up with anything, I just watched reality shows. So like, I don't know if like the economy is doing bad, but I do know that reality show prize money has never been lower. It's getting real sad out there. Like if you watch a reality show from like the early 2000s, they're all like 20 supermodels, 1 mansion, $30 million. But if you watch a reality show now, they're like 40 bipolar influencers, 1 rented warehouse, 10% off their student loans. It's like in 2005, there was this trashy reality show on the CW called Beauty and the Geek. And the prize for winning this trashy reality show on the CW was $250,000 split between the winning couple. 1 beauty, 1 geek. So that means $125,000 per person. In 2020, Netflix released a show called Too Hot to Handle, which is like a successful show. The prize money for that was $100,000 split evenly between the 10 contestants. So that's $10,000 per person. Except it isn't even that, because like the premise of Too Hot to Handle is money gets subtracted from the prize money throughout every time these contestants like kiss or make out or do any sort of like sexual activity. So at the end of this season of Too Hot to Handle, the prize money wasn't even $100,000, it was $75,000 split 10 ways. So that was $7,500 per person before taxes. And it's like, that doesn't even cover like your flights, I think. So imagine that. You quit your job, you go into a calorie deficit to fly into international waters to participate in a half-nude version of the Stanford prison experiment, and in the end, you're not even given enough money to afford a used Dodge Durango. Also, sidebar, the very premise of Too Hot to Handle, like, goes against the core tenets of, like, what reality TV is supposed to be. It's like you're flying all these hot people out to pay them to not hook up? That's no fun. If anything, you should be flying a bunch of random hot people out to pay them to hook up. Actually, scratch that. That might actually be trafficking. Never mind. They might be on the right track. I do have to give Too Hot to Handle this, though. Too Hot to Handle does feature my favorite reality show contestant of all time. There's a contestant on season 1 of Too Hot to Handle who just hangs out in the background, never participates in any of the drama, and just says no thank you whenever guys try to flirt with her. And I'm watching that going, good for you, lady. Enjoy your free vacation. For fans of the show, I'm referring to Kayla. Now, when it comes to the prize money, I think the idea is like, oh, you might not get paid directly, but you'll make so much money after because the show will make you famous. In fact, one contestant on season 1 of Too Hot to Handle said just that. In 2020, Too Hot to Handle season 1 contestant Bryce Hirschberg told the Hollywood Raw podcast that he received no fee for appearing on the show. He said, the way they pitched it was, oh, Bryce, you're gonna make a ton of money after this anyway. You know what I mean? You're gonna get a lot of exposure. It'll be fine for you. And look, you know, that sounds like a bad deal to me, but it seemed to work out in the end. After all, who is more famous than Bryce Hirschberg from season 1 of Too Hot to Handle? And look, certainly there are a couple people, like I think Harry Jowsey, who have gotten famous after being on Too Hot to Handle, but that's almost like the exception that proves the rule. Most of these contestants don't blow up at all. Don't believe me? Okay, well how about you name one contestant from this past season of Too Hot to Handle? Name one. Go ahead, I'll wait. Actually, I won't wait because I have to finish filming this video, but you get the idea. And the thing is, Too Hot to Handle isn't even like the most egregious example of reality TV's downward spiral. Like there's another show on Netflix called The Ultimatum. This is the real premise of The Ultimatum.
You're not sure you want to marry your current partner. The risk is that they're going to find someone else who is. you'll each choose a new partner.
You'll move in together in a trial marriage. And at the end of this experience,
You guys will have to choose.
By the way, the prize money for winning the ultimatum is nothing. Zero. You've let Nick Lachey ruin your life, and you didn't even get enough money to afford a used Dodge Durango. There's people leaving the ultimatum with no wife, no fiance, no girlfriend, and no money. And by the way, if Nick Lachey tried to make me give an ultimatum to my girlfriend of 10 years, I simply would say, no, Nick Lachey, I will not. And if he tried to argue with me, I'd play him this video.
Name in the sky, does it ever get lonely? Thinking you could live without me. Thinking you could live without me.
You're really gonna let that guy give you life-altering advice? Really? You're gonna let that man make the love of your life move in with a total stranger? I don't think so. And the thing is, if the ultimatum did have prize money, it would still be fucked up, but at least it'd be something. But that's the thing, it's not even just about the prize money anymore. Like, reality TV used to be so hopeful. Like, reality TV used to be like, who wants to be a millionaire? And now reality TV is just like, who wants MrBeast to let them out of the cage? Speaking of MrBeast, because he is like reality TV at this point. He's the new king. MrBeast is so like blatantly evil that he actually makes you look fucking stupid for calling him out for being evil. Like, people will be in MrBeast videos and complain about like the subpar working conditions, and on the one hand it's like, yeah, that's shitty, but on the other hand it's kind of like, well, yeah, that's his whole thing. People will be like, I was in a MrBeast video and he locked me in a room for 100 days with no food or water. And you're trying to be sympathetic, so you're like, oh my god, that's terrible. What video was it? The video was titled, I locked a man in a room for 100 days with no food or water. It's like, okay, so you signed up to be in that video and then you were surprised that that's exactly what happened? It's like, I feel for you, but also I feel like an idiot for feeling for you, kind of, you know? It's kind of like the ultimate reverse Uno card. It's like, you can't be surprised I treated you badly because I just straight up asked you if you wanted me to treat you badly and you said yes for some reason. Another thing MrBeast does that's so brilliant is like, as soon as you start to kind of be skeptical about one of his crazy ideas, he immediately hits you with another even more crazy idea, like as a distraction. Like, I saw this announcement about a new MrBeast video he's working on. MrBeast is putting 2 pilots in a private jet for 100 days with unlimited fuel, and if they make it, they get to keep the jet. If they make it? If they make it? If they make it? They're flying a plane. If they don't make it, they're fucking dead. It's like, if either of these pilots doesn't make it, it's not like a YouTube video gone wrong, it's a national tragedy. And the thing is, reality shows have always been exploitive on some level, but at least the exploitation used to pay off for some people. Like, look, I'm obviously young and cool, so when I was growing up, the biggest reality singing competition was American Idol, and if you won American Idol, you were set for life. Record deal, hit songs, millions of dollars. Now, the biggest reality singing competition is The Voice. You know what happens when you win The Voice? Reba McEntire shoots you in the head. Ever wonder how we all know who Carrie Underwood is, but none of us can name a single winner of The Voice? It's because they've all been shot by Reba, and then she just spins back around in her chair and waits for the next season to start. It's like, people used to care about who was competing on American Idol. Really, I mean, they would call in and vote. Nobody really cares about the contestants on The Voice. You just want to see if, like, Team Blake wins their battle duet round against Team Gwen. I haven't seen The Voice in many, many years, but I assume that's kind of the vibe. The thing is, if the show doesn't care about the contestants, then eventually the contestants are gonna stop caring about the show. And that's kind of what's happened with The Voice. Multiple people are just straight up leaving mid-show. Maura Ilderton quits The Voice and abandons Gwen Stefani's team on final night of Knockouts round. And this is just ridiculous. I mean, dropping out of The Voice, now nobody's ever gonna know your name. You should stay on The Voice, win the whole thing, and then still have nobody ever know your name. And honestly, I think the biggest testament to how much power reality TV has lost is that Donald Trump was a reality TV star in the 2000s, and he managed to ride that momentum to become the president of the United States. If you're a reality star now, the best you can hope to ride that momentum to is an appearance on The Masked Singer, dressed as like a giant slug. That's what Netflix said to the contestants on Too Hot to Handle. They're like, we don't need to pay you money. After you get off off this show, you're gonna get to be a giant slug on The Masked Singer. And you can't put a price on that. Here's the thing about The Masked Singer, I don't even think you do win money. I literally don't think it's prize money, because I think the idea is like everyone on there is famous. And those quotation marks are load-bearing, by the way. Also, on The Masked Singer, the worst part is always when they take off the mask, right? It's like more often than not, I finally see the celebrity, and I'm just like, man, I kind of wish they had kept the mask on. Like, the show is like, ooh, it's a big furry bird singing Dream On, and then they finally unmask the big furry bird, and it's Mike the Situation. It's like, I gotta be honest, I thought it was more impressive when it was just a giant furry bird. It's like, I don't even need the mask off portion, honestly. I would literally rather just watch a bunch of crazy animal costumes perform covers of songs than see a celebrity take off a big crazy animal costume to perform another cover of a song. It's like, I would literally rather watch a fuzzy slughead belt out an Adele cover than one of the guys from Love is Blind do it. It's like, I remember when Dancing with the Stars was considered trashy, and The Masked Singer somehow found a way to be way trashier than that. And speaking of Dancing with the Stars, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, they're getting younger stars. It's like Dancing with the Stars used to be for like retired athletes and washed up actors, but like now it's for like active athletes and current social media stars. It's like Dancing with the Stars used to be something you did when you were washed up, but I looked recently, they got Charli D'Amelio on there, who, come to think of it, has run like the entire reality show gauntlet in like no time flat. Like, Charli D'Amelio got famous on TikTok, took a stab at a music career, had a reality show end, went back to TikTok, and appeared on Dancing with the Stars, all before she was 25. The reality show life cycle is so accelerated. That's the sort of thing that's supposed to take you like 30 years. Like, slow down, Charli. That's supposed to be your entire life. And look, I think it is kind of obvious that reality shows have gotten shittier, but I think what's kind of interesting is why. And of all places, I think a great explanation came from this interview with Jared Padalecki. And if you're a fan of the show Supernatural, you know Jared Padalecki is like one of the two main characters. And if you're a fan of the show Gilmore Girls, you know Jared Padalecki as Dean. And if you're really a fan of the show Gilmore Girls, you know Jared Padalecki as Rory's worst love interest in the entire show. And don't get me started about Jess, okay? Jess may have been the worst boyfriend, but he was the best love interest. I'm talking about right person, wrong time. Dean was just the fucking wrong person at the right time. And by the way, Logan, I used to rank highest, but he kind of really suffered for me on rewatch. And what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, reality TV. In this interview, Jared Padalecki talks about how the CW canceled his show Walker after 4 seasons to make room for more reality show programming. My understanding is, and again, this is just what I'm told, that Nexstar is going in a different direction with the CW. I mean, they have an hour of Trivial Pursuit and an hour of Scrabble coming up. I don't know why you wouldn't just download the app or grab a board game and play with your friends, but they're clearly just, what's that great quote? It's like, if somebody tells you who they are, ask questions. If somebody shows you who they are, believe them. By the way, that is just so devastating to say. Can't you just grab a board game and play with your friends? Not all of us have friends, Jared. Not all of us are a beloved TV star. Now look, that's actually really interesting because Nexstar purchased the CW. And so this is coming from the top down. And I think that's why we're getting a lot of shitty reality TV shows right now, is that these legacy brands that used to put out quality television content are getting bought up by like non-entertainment companies, be it like tech companies or venture capital companies, what have you. And these companies don't care about TV. They don't care about entertainment. They just care about the bottom line. And the bottom line is, seems like a show about Scrabble costs way less to produce than a show about 2 Gilmore Girls trying to make it in Stars Hollow, one of whom winds up dating Dean, the worst love interest in the history of television. And what was I talking about? Oh yeah, reality shows. And I think what they're missing here when they do that math is that they actually need the scripted shows to generate the audience for the reality show content. So we've all been watching TV late at night and we see the kind of shitty shows that these networks will put on after prime time. And those shows probably do okay for them in terms of audience, but the reason they do okay is that the primetime block has built up an audience that they then can maintain even with subpar programming. If all the programming is just Scrabble or Trivial Pursuit, there's no audience built. There's nothing to maintain. Sure, you're creating lower cost shows, but it doesn't matter how low cost your show is. If nobody's watching it, it's gonna lose money. And that's another thing. All of these reality shows are very clearly just cash grabs, but are they even grabbing cash? Like, clearly they're doing this to make money, but it's like, are these shows even making money? ABC's Lucky 13 turns to Nightmare. Shaquille O'Neal, Gina Rodriguez, and contractors owed at least $500,000 by producer after show's cancellation. Deadline revealed last week that Lucky 13 would not be renewed for a second season. An ABC source said the Disney-owned network is working to ensure O'Neal and Rodriguez, who doubled as executive producers, receive payment. So this show came out, was unsuccessful, and then they canceled canceled the second season, but they still have to pay these celebrity judges. So now your show is making negative $500,000. So these shows aren't even making money. The show with big celebrity judges is losing $500,000. Also, by the way, if every show has a big celebrity judge, it's almost like none of them do. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. It's not as if, like, I can only see Shaq hosting Lucky 13. So you're kind of using the voice model where you make it all about the judges, but then if every show is making it all about the judges, then no one's gonna give a shit about the judges anymore, and then you're gonna be left paying $500,000 to people who are not appearing on a show that you're not airing. And by the way, I want to be clear, as I rant about how shitty reality TV has gotten, there is one reality TV show I am not talking about, because that show is crushing it, and that show is Love Island. Love Island, this is not about you. You are rocking it, you are crushing it. This last season on Peacock was absolutely crazy. I even watched like the between special edition episodes where we just saw them like making avocado toast in their downtime. That's how good Love Island is. So Love Island, you can do no wrong. 3 Love Island suicides raise concerns about reality show. Okay, so turns out Love Island, you can do some wrong. God, we can't have fucking anything, can we? The one good reality show also happens to be driving several cast members to suicide, so fuck. And okay, reality TV is bad now, but why do we care, right? Isn't it always kind of bad? And for one thing, as Jared Padalecki touched on, reality TV is replacing quality programming. So these shitty shows don't exist in a vacuum, they're actively taking a spot away from potentially great narrative shows. And also, just because something is quote unquote dumb, doesn't mean it has to be bad. Like, just because you're making a shitty reality show, doesn't mean it has to be a shitty reality show. Like, dumb TV shows and dumb movies can still be good. Like, I love dumb movies. Like, I remember when everyone was shitting on Avatar by saying stuff like, ugh, it's just Pocahontas in space. And I'd be sitting there like, damn, Pocahontas in space sounds awesome. Like, every time there's an Avatar movie coming out, I hear people say stuff like, ugh, why would anyone want to watch a movie that's basically just like Fern Gully with mech suits? And it's just like, yeah, why would anyone want to watch a movie that's just like the coolest idea for a movie I've ever heard? I mean, I genuinely love dumb TV and I genuinely love dumb movies. I gotta be honest, sometimes I wish I was dumber so that I could enjoy movies more. Like, have you ever watched a movie with like a truly dumb person? They are so into it. It becomes their whole world. Like, in high school, I was watching the movie Rise of the Planet of the Apes with a buddy of mine. Love the guy. He was dumb as a toaster full of spoons, but I loved him. And again, this movie is Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and we're about 5 minutes in. So the apes are like still in the zoo, and the zookeeper's coming around and like banging on the bars and zapping them. And I look over, my friend has tears welling in his eyes. And I was like, oh my God, man, are you okay? Is something wrong? And he said, real direct quote, they should not be treating the apes this way. And I was just like, you are gonna fucking love where this movie's going. This shit's about to blow your mind. I want that. I want to be dumb enough where I can sit down and watch a movie called Rise of the Planet of the Apes and genuinely be like, gee, I sure hope this works out for the apes. And I know the obvious thing whenever I talk about reality TV is like, well, who cares if it's dumb and bad? It's reality TV. It's supposed to be dumb and bad. But just because something is quote unquote supposed to be dumb doesn't actually mean it has to be bad. Like, when I say I love dumb TV and I love dumb movies, I mean movies and TV that like a dumb person can enjoy. Not movies and TV made by dumb people that seems to be intentionally trying to make you dumber as you watch it. And I actually think a great example of this is Die Hard. I was watching Die Hard on a flight recently and I hadn't seen Die Hard since I was like a kid. And there's so much tired discourse about like, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? And look, I don't know if it's a Christmas movie, but I do know this. It's a great movie. I mean, Die Hard has great acting and has great directing. The score is amazing. The characters are really fleshed out and three-dimensional. And the relationships in the movie are really well thought out and nuanced and actually develop in relation to the plot as it unfolds. And Die Hard's just like a dumb action movie from the 80s. Like, Die Hard wasn't trying to win awards. It probably wasn't even trying to get good reviews. It's just trying to be a fun, dumb action movie. But I think it's a great example of just because something's not trying to be prestigious doesn't mean it has to not try at all. Okay, I will say this. My one real problem with Die Hard is something that I literally forgot was even in the movie until I watched it most recently, is that throughout the movie, Bruce Willis is in this skyscraper that's captured by like these robbers, and he's developing a relationship via walkie-talkie with this police officer who's outside in his squad car. And the whole thing is the police officer is haunted by something in his past, so he's just stuck behind a desk, and he's too afraid to even use his service weapon again. And then throughout the movie, Bruce Willis is trying to like coax out of him like what is this thing that's haunting him? But then he finally reveals it, and this is the thing that's haunting him.
I shot a kid.
He shot a kid. It's like, Jesus. He tells Bruce Willis he shot a kid, and then Bruce Willis spends the rest of the movie being like, you gotta get over that, man. It's like, does he? Does he have to get over that? I feel like that's the sort of thing you probably shouldn't get over. He's like, I shot a kid, and the movie's like, hey, we all shoot kids from time to time. It's like, do we? Do we? Do we all? In the end, like, one of the bad guys jumps out of nowhere, and the cop triumphantly shoots the bad guy using his weapon again. In a big feel-good moment, but it's like, is this a feel-good moment? He's just holding his gun like, the lesson is, it's not that big a deal when you shoot a kid. But anyway, crazy to say, but it is just like a minor problem. But the point is, Die Hard was supposed to be like a dumb action movie, and everyone making it was still giving it their all. And now it seems like everything is reality TV, and none of the people making it are even trying to make it good. And I think nothing epitomizes the current state of reality TV not trying more than this show called The Floor.
Friends.
Seinfeld.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
The Office.
Cheers.
Pass.
I'm kind of surprised by the audience gasp when she doesn't know Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I honestly didn't know Brooklyn Nine-Nine had fans like that.
Oh no, it's you. It's you. It's you. It's you.
Modern Family. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, Modern Family. Oh God.
The cut to Rob Lowe is so funny and disheartening. Just like the reveal of like, ugh, they got you to do this? Do you need money that bad? I do like to think that that's all he does in the show though. Like he doesn't have lines, he doesn't even host. The camera just periodically cuts to him and he's like,
Parks and Recreation.
Golden Girls.
Will and Grace.
Pass.
This show is called The Floor, and I'll say this, I don't know how much money the winners of this show get, but I already know that it's somehow both not enough and way too much. And look, whether it's reality TV or scripted shows or movies, I think the real lesson is when people stop trying to make something good, things start to get bad. Like at least old shows like Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune, like had a degree of class, dare I say, not to sound like Frank Sinatra or something. But The Floor? Are you kidding me? There's no achievement here. Like what even is the achievement? Can you recognize some of the most famous hit shows of all time? If they want to make this a real challenge, they shouldn't see if people can recognize great sitcoms from the past. They should see if people can recognize shitty reality shows from the present. Like this, here I'll show you. Password. Is it cake? Are you smarter than a celebrity? Temptation Island. F-Boy Island. Love Island Games. Love Always, which is a show about a pansexual bachelorette finding love, and like, side note, I don't even know why they need to make that show. I mean, pansexuals, statistically speaking, have an easier time finding love than literally anyone else. Snake in the Grass. Beat Shazam. Deal or No Deal, specifically the Peacock reboot hosted by True Blood star Joe Manganiello. Barmageddon. The Anonymous. Jack Sparrow House, which was somehow a real reality show that aired on Quibi, which was somehow a real streaming platform. This YouTube video hosted by me that I really tried to come up with an organic conclusion for, but nothing came to mind, so I decided to just end it abruptly.